Hello, it's Belle. I just wanted to share a bit about my Hobonichi because a few people have asked me about it since I got it. So I'll pretty much just get straight into it and talk about the features and stuff. So I got the 2016 Avec cousin. So the cousin is the A5 size. Normally the cousin is double that width, but the Avec comes in 2 books, which are half the year, and from next year there's also a weekly section, but mine doesn't have the weekly section, so it's actually going to be a bit fatter next year. So I actually got the cousin Avec for 2017. So the set of the 2 books for half the year each. But I just ordered them at the start of October, so I also got the second half book, the July to December Avec cousin for 2016, so I could start trying it out now and make sure I like it and I know how I want to use it before 2017 starts. Yeah, so I've only been using it a few days, but I just want to share kind of some of the features and what it looks like for anyone thinking about getting one for next year. So at the start it has these pages here, which are kind of a year at a glance. Let me take the bookmark off so you can see it better. Here, which I don't really use, and then it's got these pages here, which are various months. So this one started in July, so July through December there, and then it's also got next year's, January to June, so I guess that's for when you don't have your new Hobonichi yet and you need to add in appointments and stuff so you don't forget them. So I haven't used those yet, but that's where it starts. So obviously I got it in October, so I didn't use these first few monthly pages. So I started, no, that's November. So I started with October, which is here. So it's just a fairly standard monthly view. There's a little bit of extra space down here, so I found that's quite handy for adding notes for that particular week that don't need to go on a specific day. So I've got kind of a couple of tasks there that have to be done sometime during that week. And mainly I use this page for birthdays and events, like if I'm going to see a play or a movie or something and I've booked it in, or a doctor's appointment, that kind of thing. But the other major thing I use this for is planning my freelance work, because I write a couple of articles a week and they're always due on Sundays. So this Sunday box, this is something I was doing in the planner I had before this, and I've just carried it over. I put kind of 1 or 2 letters as a code for what client it is, and then 1 or 2 words to tell me what the topic is I need to write for the article. And that makes it really easy for me to see at a glance. For instance, this is a really busy week and this is a really quiet week. And I find that it's good to have that here so I can just go to the monthly view and kind of have an overview all at once of where I'm busy and where I'm not for when I'm planning. So at the moment, obviously I'm fairly booked out for October, but I'm planning November. So I can look in here and see I've got something planned here, and these ones are free. So if I was going to plan something new, I'd probably start with planning one here and then one here. So that's kind of how I use it. But otherwise I use it pretty much like everyone else. I've also got deadlines in here for my university assignments. There are only a couple of those a month, so that's a good spot to have them. So that's the monthly page. And since I haven't done one of these videos before, you have to tell me if there's anything I'm skipping past that you want to know more about. This is what the daily pages look like. So at the start of each month of daily pages, you get a page like this that just says, remember this, and it's probably a bit hard to see there, but it's got some lines there down here. So they're quite fat lines, which is a bit weird compared to how small these, I think these are 3mm grid boxes, and then these lines are huge, like letter writing paper. But anyway, that's just kind of a to-do list for the month at the start of the month, and then you get a page per day. So in this one, you've got a timeline down the side here. You've got a slightly darker line just here. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's not super dark, so you can ignore it, but it does kind of mark off the timeline section as its own little section. You've got some little checkboxes up the top, and then the rest is just free. So what I've been doing is I've been using the timeline. I'm not sure if I will keep going or not. I've basically been using it to block out chunks of time and just make a note about what type of thing I want to work on. So I might put, you know, working on freelance client work from 1 till 6, rather than the actual tasks. And then down this side, I've been putting the actual tasks I want to do. So I'll show you some examples. I'm testing out these little magnetic bookmarks. I got these from the Hobonichi store as well. But I don't know that they're working super well. What I'm really looking for is something that makes it easy to quickly flip to the right page, the current month or the current day. That sticks out a little bit. These don't really stick out much, so they're hard to grab. But I also want something that doesn't take up much room on the page, because they're always, if I put them kind of here or across here, they're always going to be covering up either something I need to see, like the date, or where I want to write. So anyway, so here's today. So what I'm doing up here with these boxes is I'm writing down habits that I want to maintain, kind of daily habits. I generally stick to just building one habit at a time, which is a whole nother topic, but I'd like to track the ones I've already built to make sure they're staying strong, and I don't need to go back and focus on them for a month or two and make sure they're strong habits again. So French, for instance, is one I've been doing for a year or more, but I still like to track it to make sure I'm not going through big periods of time when I don't do it. So I've got flossing in there, and I just put in, at the moment I've got 4 that I'm tracking every day, so I write those down there and just cross them off when I've done them. And I don't have anywhere, you know, like a monthly grid or anything where I track them. It's just a daily thing for me at the moment. And then here I use the timelines. You can see I've kind of blocked sections out. So I've put breakfast and workout here, but it's a 2-hour period. So that's not going to take that whole time, but it's just kind of, I want to get up sometime around 6 or 7, and I want to get those things done during that block of time between 6 and 8. And then after here I've got lunch, and then I've got this big chunk here where I've put client work. So that would mean I would just go through the tasks and find the stuff that relates to client work, various things I need to do, and that's the time when I would get them done. And then here I just keep a running list of tasks. Because the grid's so small, I'm thinking I might start leaving a blank line in between, but I'm not sure. So I'll show you a couple other pages. Like I said, I haven't had it long, so I haven't done many. Here I tried kind of planning particular tasks into these chunks. I don't know that I need to do that. I might try adding a little, adding a letter of the alphabet. I've done that before in my bullet journal, just to kind of code what type of tasks they are, so that when I have this chunk here that says client work, I can just run down and look at everything that has a C for client work, rather than looking through the whole list and rereading them over and over and thinking, do I need to do that now? No. Do I need to do that one? Yes, that's it. That's actually the day I got it there, I think. So I really haven't used it much. One really interesting thing which you won't find from looking at pictures of these and watching videos is the paper. So it's Tomo River paper, and I also have a 7 Seas Crossfield, which is just it's kind of the size and shape of a cousin, but it's just a blank notebook. And that's got Tomo River paper in it. And I had used Tomo River in my Midori Traveler's notebook before as well. So I kind of thought I knew what to expect, but I actually found that this is more rough feeling. It's still quite thin, at about the same level as what I'm used to, but the 7 Seas Crossfield paper feels a little bit shiny and smooth compared to this, and I feel like this feels a bit more rough. Which is not necessarily bad, just I did not expect that. I expected it to be kind of soft and shiny. So you can see how each month is color coded. So all the December pages have orange, and all the November pages have green. And then they've got this marker here for the month. So you can see which month it is there. And you can kind of see them from the edge there. So I'm not really using any of the back pages, but I'll show you what's in there in case you're curious. So there's some blank grid paper here, not heaps, looks like maybe 6 pages of that, 6 sheets, sorry. And then there's just some stuff like here, my anniversaries, and I don't know what this graph paper page is for, favorites, gift list. There's a timetable. I remember those used to be useful in high school. I have no idea what all this is about. I wonder if this explains the little buttered toast thing that comes with the Hobonichi. I don't know what that was. You've probably seen them in unboxing videos. I just threw mine in the bin because I didn't know what it was for. So yeah, addresses, and I guess these are probably holidays or something. Personal notes, so you can, I guess, put your details in case it's lost, maybe. Yeah, and that's it. The cover is just quite thick cardboard, really, is all it is. It's quite thick, but it's just cardboard. It's quite similar to my 7/6 crossfield, I'd say, in terms of kind of the material and how thick it is. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. But and there's, if you want to see, there's the thickness as well. So it's, I think the official thickness is 1 centimeter. So the 2017 one will be slightly thicker because, as you saw, we went kind of from the monthly pages, these ones, straight into the daily pages. But they're adding a weekly section to the next one, which I think has kind of like the full week across the page in columns for each day. Kind of like the vertical Midori Traveller's Notebook insert, if you've seen that. So that will be slightly thicker, but I don't think it'll be a lot thicker. I do have one, but I just haven't played with it yet. I've kept it in the plastic because I want to make sure that I use this one up to figure out how I want to use it and whether I like it, and I'm going to stick with it for a whole year before I unwrap the brand new one for next year, because I might sell it if I decide the system doesn't work for me. But so far I'm really liking it. I'm not using all this space. There's a lot of space there. And I think an A6 probably would be enough for me, but I wanted A5 because I'm keeping it in my A5 Rotterfodden, so I wanted A5 to fit that. So I think A5 will do. It's okay if I don't use all the space. I don't want to do any journaling or anything to use up the space because I always throw out my planners and I keep my journaling separate so I can just keep my journal, but you could definitely do that. I know a lot of people do. Oh yeah, there's one more thing that I should show you. So for this start of the month page here, I wasn't sure what I wanted to use it for at first, but actually I found a use that really makes sense for me, which is for my goals. So at the end of each month, I do a monthly review just of my life and my work and what's going well, and I set goals for the following month, and then at the end of that month I review whether I hit the goals and why not. And I always pick a habit to focus on. So as I said, I like to build one habit at a time. So French at the moment is something I do almost every day, and I don't have to try too hard because I've spent a year building that habit. So I still track it, but I don't have to focus on it. So I'm focusing on things that are not strong habits yet. So at the end of every month when I do my review, I set my goals for the following month, and I also pick a habit to focus on. So what I did for this first month, and I think I'll keep doing this because it's a really, really cool spot to have it. And I usually, with this little magnetic bookmark, I usually have it holding this page and the current day. So I can flip to the current day and back to here. So what I did here was I put my focus habit up here, which is exercise, for the month of October. And then I wrote down all the goals that I set in my monthly review. And I just did little bullets, just like in the bullet journal, so I can add a little cross there when I get those done. But I found from doing those monthly reviews, when I don't keep those goals in mind throughout the month, I just forget what they are, and I don't hit them because I didn't know what goals I set. I just forget about them and just go about my day. So I think this is really helpful, and having that magnetic bookmark on there is good because it makes it easy to flip back and forth between the current day and here, so I can kind of keep coming back and checking what were those things and have I done any of them that I can tick off. Are there any that I've forgotten about that I need to start working on so I get them done before the end of the month and that kind of thing. So I'm quite happy with that page. I didn't know I would need it, but now I feel like I would be quite sad if I didn't have it. Anyway, I think that's it. But if there's anything I didn't explain that or show you long enough that you're curious about, especially if you're thinking of getting a Hobonichi and you're not sure, let me know, and I'd be happy to share it with you more.